So it's 4:30 and we have a quorum. And the chair, I can begin the meeting. I'll call this meeting of the Cultural Plan Committee to order at 4:30. The first order of business on our agenda is to approve the minutes from the March 26, 2026 meeting. I hoped that all the committee members have had an opportunity to read them. If there are any corrections.
Chair, I would like to make a motion that we accept the minutes of the last meeting.
A motion's been made. Can I get a second?
Second.
All right. All right, Ms. Pickens, Commissioner Pickens, seconds. It's moved in second, so the minutes will be accepted. Is there any discussion about those minutes? I read them. They seem fine to me. All right. So now the next thing on our agenda is the approval of the revised and restated Dallas Cultural Plan 2028. And that also came to you in advance, and I hope you've had an opportunity to look at it. Okay, has everybody had an opportunity to review what was sent to you? Okay,
I do have one question.
okay,
Okay.
Chair Small.
On the revised that we received, on the cover, would it be inappropriate to put revised 2026? Because it says 2018 on the cover, but there's no reference to 2026.
Could we do that? Yes.
I just, if that's appropriate.
There are actually two things related to that you bring it up, Chair Small, because I was wondering if when we looked at the back and it looked at the staff and all the staff is 2018 staff. So I'm wondering if that too ought to be changed so that the staff that is currently working on this is reflected.
I mean, I did see the changes that we discussed during our meetings seem to have been revised, but just on the cover.
Well, and the back cover is where the staff is. If you
Oh,
go-
okay,
if
but
you go
I'm
to the
but
very
I'm
back.
saying
you'll
on the
see.
front cover.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's a question that I'm posing. And
Well, it would seem to me that in order for this to be an accurate reflection of what's going on, that we would need to have it reflect that this is a revised
yes,
document because it is not the original document.
Noted. We'll take that note.
Okay. And do you know the note about the back? What do you think in terms of the staff?
I was waiting for.
Go all the way to the
Adriana
end,
talk
if you
about
will,
it.
Adriana. You can see at the end, it credits the staff. OAC staff. The
Okay.
task force and all of that stuff that happened ahead of time, I think maybe that can stay the
So
same.
this is the original,
But that's the original.
cover? Yeah,
That's
this
the
is
original cover,
So you'd
yes.
like the back cover to also be subject to revision,
Right.
noted, and to note,
The
what I
current-
think should include this committee members' names, and then the OAC staff support of this committee,
And
Right.
so,
correct?
Chair,
Yes.
if I may, could we zoom out to see the cover page,
The front cover or the back
the
cover?
front cover?
Oh,
You want the 2026 under.
Yeah, see, it says Dallas Cultural Plan 2018, revised and restated 2026. Yes,
underneath the revised and restated.
yes.
Okay, yes, I think that makes sense.
Back cover.
And
A few questions then about the back cover, because the back cover starts, if I'm not mistaken, with the council members of that particular term. So then all of that is subject to update to what's current 2026, current city council members.
I say that we put current city council members and
City
current, yes, this update, because we're acknowledging who's worked on the restated copy.
Noted.
And so I don't know who all the people were from the city side, but,
Okay.
but certainly I think all of that should reflect what's happening now, not what happened in 2018.
Okay. So is there any consideration for the funding support noted to the right?
is it accurate? I guess
That
my
was-
question is,
That was, again, of the time, subject to the initial.
Well, then
plan and
that would,
policy.
but that would still be in effect, because unless we have gotten new money to do something with this, then we're still operating with the same funding base.
Then may I suggest that we note that they're sponsors of the 2018 plan by title of
Yes.
that back cover?
I think that would be appropriate.
Right. Thank y'all.
Okay. Further discussion? I did have some questions about the stated objectives now. And I'm just curious to know, as I was reading through them, especially the one that had to do with space and the one that had to do with communications. Do we have,
But scroll up, if you could go,
it's a lot. I mean, hopefully
Yeah.
people have read this, because you can't
Yes.
really read it on that.
but the one that has to do with space, you mean the bullet point? or
No, the whole, I
Oh,
read
okay.
through
Oh,
all of
okay.
the
That right there,
initiatives,
Okay.
what's expected as far as
Here.
addressing this
right there.
strategy. Yes, the strategy. So I'm curious to know, based on the depth of the work that has to be done in this area, do we have the staff to actually fulfill these strategies? Because it seemed like a lot of work.
In short form, yes.
Okay.
We have, and to be frank, the staff has expanded by number since,
We have more people assigned to this community.
since the plan was originally established, and, our organizational chart has had a few shifts in terms of the types of positions, by position title and job responsibility, to
Mhm.
ensure that we're flexible enough to address our priorities. So I'd say yes. However, I would anticipate and almost expect that some concept of space is going to revisit our next plan in the future.
Mhm.
I don't see that disappearing as a priority for our ecosystem, even as we look forward to starting a new community engagement process, et cetera.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I feel like the space is absolutely a priority. I just wanted to make sure that the various and sundry ways in which we were going to. Huh? What?
We're getting a phone call from somebody. I just didn't know if you saw it.
Oh, I don't know. I don't answer the phone. Let me just make sure it's on silent. Well, it must be, because I didn't hear it ring. So all I'm questioning is we know that space has to remain a strategy, because it's a very important priority for our cultural system, our ecosystem. So I just want to make sure that all of the things that we're talking about in terms of what we're going to do to address the space issue, that we have staff to actually do that. Okay, that's all. Because that was the question I had for a number of the things that I saw listed under the communications as well, that we know we have enough staff to actually tackle these strategies as listed.
And while as you were speaking about the space component, while you're talking about the lift, overall, it's not only a staff lift, the cultural plan, by charge and policy, obviously, we have to follow it, but it also helps our partners, our external stakeholders who align with us, understand how they can come forward to support what's noted within. And so, we have gratefully have an expectation that folks who want to enter into business with us, who want to support us, et cetera, will understand that, here are the policies.
Yeah, I'm just meaning that we've got a staff person, because somebody from the staff is still going to have to coordinate whatever
And,
happens.
and one more extension, Chair, the cultural plan and policy extends to direct all of our colleagues within the city, not just the Office of Arts and Culture. So you have facilities, real estate, whoever, transportation, public works, et cetera, et cetera. This is the city's plan,
Mhm.
not just our offices.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we've got people
Noted.
to coordinate all of this so that it makes sense. Okay. Are there any questions from the gallery about the revised plan and what's been put forth that we're going to move forward with? Yes, Commissioner Pickens?
Overall, I thought it looked awesome, and congratulations on the execution, everybody. I hope y'all can hear me well. Do I sound okay?
There's an echo.
There's the echo. Am I signed in twice on here or no? Am I coming up twice? I wonder why there's an echo.
I think you just needed to move a little closer to the mic.
Okay. Maybe I should take my Bluetooth completely off. Let me see. I'll try to take it off. Let me see. Does this sound a little better?
Yeah, you're a little tinny, but we like the clarity.
Okay. It's the Bluetooth sucks. My apologies. I was gonna say, congratulations on the overall execution. My questions are questions I think that I'll just learn as we go, and me just being new to the committee. And I just wanted to say for aesthetic continuity, some of the pictures were just super blurry. But other than that, everything looked incredible. But the pictures that were blurry, I think it was a map that was on like page 67 or something like that. That was just really just little stuff like that. But the questions I have, I'm pretty sure are things I'll just learn as when we start, once this is submitted, and then we'll start having like our meetings on executing everything moving forward. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Well, if there are no other questions or discussion about the proposed plan, then we need to vote on having it move forward to the full commission, which will happen in the May meeting. Well, we are almost inclusive of all the edits noted. Yes.
Chair, if I may,
Yes.
then I'd like to make the motion that we advance this draft to the full commission.
It's been moved. Can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Pickens, seconds. Okay. Then all in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 There we go.
All right, it's been unanimously accepted to move forward for the full commission to review it with the added additions that what do you call it?
As revised.
As revised, that's it, the revisions, that's the word. Okay. So the next thing that we're going to move on to discuss is the meeting that we had with Lord and where we go from here. Director Philippe, are you going to summarize for us
Sure.
what Lord suggested?
Good afternoon, everyone. We had a wonderful call with our friends over at Lord. Thanks to Commissioner Valentin and Chair Meek for setting that up with Joy and her team to spend some time with us over a virtual call. I think that within the last 2 weeks, quite recent. And so, of course, we took a few minutes to discuss the approach to the first cultural plan, and what our wishes are for this new version, if you will, and how we can create and build upon the work that's already been done. We talked a bit about, how the current implementation phase was 7 to 10 years. And looking back at that length in years, I find it, I've always suggested that whatever we do moving forward is a bit shorter in terms of implementation years, and that we'd be looking to a 5-year plan instead. We discussed how we can incorporate some of the existing priorities and how to approach identifying new ones with some input from our stakeholders internally and externally. What we've learned in this last almost 12 months now, in terms of whether or not our existing plan is resilient, if you will. We want to kind of be thoughtful about that moving forward to ensure that we build something that can stand the test of any administration, if you will, or any other implications that we're learning do have an impact on these types of plans and policies. And then we talked about staff and our office's efforts and how we can best integrate with our sister city departments. I mean, looking in the near future, of course, the city is going to be rolling out the Drivers of Opportunity framework, et cetera. And so we'll have a bit of time to see how wise it might be for us to align ourselves tightly with it or not, et cetera. And how to ensure that no matter what comes of the feedback and input we receive over time, when we enter into the phase of community engagement and seeking input and feedback, you know, how best to ensure that there's some balance there with what we're hearing, obviously with what's feasible and needed and necessary. And even as Chair Meek has been discussing what the staff will be able to handle in terms of delivering on our next policy and plan. So it was a wonderful discussion. Certainly, you know, helps us keep our eyes looking forward during these challenging times. And also, you know, gave us a bit of time. Chair Meek shared some few positive remarks about what we've been able to accomplish on our current plan, especially in recent years. So again, it was a wonderful call. And if I'm not mistaken, our friends were open to engaging with us at some point in the future. Certainly, we want to be respectful of their professional time and ensure that we engage with them in the right manner, not so much as a favor as they did this one time. But at any rate, I'll pause there for Chair Meek or Commissioner Valentine if you want to
I
share
just
your
want to
perspective.
add, just so for the other commissioners who are on this call to know that I was impressed by the fact that Joy complimented us on being a client that actually realized a lot of what they planned. She said that they've done a number of plans for a number of cities and very few of them have actually implemented those plans in the ways that we have. So she was very complimentary on the fact that we had gotten so much done and really in such a short time, because it really has been done in the last 3 years that we really sped up the implementation of this plan. So I was pleased to hear that. Yeah. All right, so is anybody, Clyde, did you want to add anything to that? No? Okay. So the next, if you look at the timeline that we have in our deck, the next step will be for the revised and restated plan to go to the full commission. And then we will begin after that. I'm assuming it'll be accepted. Once that's accepted and in the works, then we can start talking about what are our next steps as far as moving forward. You know, we still have a number of things to accomplish with this revised plan, but you know, we want to start thinking about where we go for 2027, 28, if we are going to get another cultural plan in place for 5 more years. So that'll be our next committee conversation.
Okay.
You'll have a list there of upcoming, our next public meetings as far as the commission is concerned, or the public art meeting on the 5th of May, and then the allocations meeting on the 7th, and then of course our full commission meeting on May 21st. And the annual report committees, I guess they'll be meeting in June, not in May. Okay.
June.
Okay, in June 10th, okay. Is there anything else we need to?
The
Discuss.
district-specific newsletters will be rolling out before we get together again in the full body. So I look forward to hearing your feedback on those, especially our new commissioners. When I first got to the city, we rolled out monthly newsletters to commissioners and their respective council members, specifically to address what, you know, projects are in the pipeline in your districts, et cetera. If you don't happen to have a cultural center in your district, we shared neighboring updates so that you know what's on the calendars at the cultural centers closest to you. With the new interest in our public art process, I think the second page of our newsletter will be dedicated to projects in the pipeline in your respective council districts. And again, if you're new, you'll see it noted in the email that goes out. One, we had shifted to a quarterly model and we'll be resuming on the quarterly model for the newsletter. But 2, this is not for public consumption in the vein of, if your council member has a newsletter that they disseminate to their constituents, this ain't that. This is not an attachment for it. It is really for you and your respective council members. 1, to help support the conversations y'all are having, obviously to foster some necessary communication as it pertains to what's happening in within the bounds of your respective districts. If you have questions for us, for staff, we're happy to address those. But we certainly don't want to get too far ahead of our projects in your districts without your awareness and ability to ask any questions you may have. And also to help you remain in a positive conversation, of course, with the folks that you're representing here on this body. So that'll be rolling out again before we get together on the 21st. And always, there's always an invitation to meet within. So if you or your council member want to meet with staff, that's where the invitation lives. It's optional, of course, but it has helped us in the past establish rapport, maintain good relationship, and of course, ensure that y'all are in the loop.
Okay, so I think we've covered all the business that we've had at hand for today. And if there's no further business, then I will call this meeting to an end, an adjournment at 4:51.
Efficient.
Thank you.
Good day, everybody.
Bye, y'all.
Hi,
Good
y'all.
evening.
Good evening. That we're discussing.